So my name is Ekaterina. What is your name?
I'm Megnej Dev. I work for Doordarshan News, the public broadcaster in India.
Wow. So you came from India.
Yes.
So what was your first impression?
My first impression was diversity. There are so many people from so many countries, and especially people were so candid. You know, the environment is so candid, it's casual, it's not a very formal setup, which actually makes you a little apprehensive. Unlike the formal setup, this was a very casual setup, which will help us open more, you know, in the days to come.
Okay, so this is your first time in BRICS Youth Camp?
Yes, this is my first time here.
Do you have any expectations?
My expectations are first building a good network, being communicated with the BRICS youth. The BRICS is a huge demography. It's a huge demography of youngsters. We are a young population in the BRICS countries. So definitely building contacts with those people will help me understand, will help me in my profession as well, and will help me understand their culture. I'm very intrigued by culture. So I would love to understand their culture and much more. So these are my little expectations, especially networking, building good contacts with people, and some good friendships.
Okay, great. So the topic is media.
Yes.
So you're a professional in media. And what is media in 21st century?
Okay, media in 21st century, it's a big part of our lives. Media influences lives. Media has evolved also in the past few years, especially after the COVID pandemic. Media is all on your phone.
Yeah.
You have a smartphone, you have media in your hands, you have every possible access to information in your hands. So now media has grown and evolved a lot, and that is one of the important reasons that we look currently at media for every information, from sports to health, to infrastructure, to economy. Every possible, for international relations, every possible thing is there in the media. There is hardly anything that the media does not track or trace.
Yes, absolutely. So, and what is the best source for you to take the information from?
The best source for me as a media professional
Yeah.
is from the official source, is from the official organization, from the exact official who is handling it or something like that. I do not trust, I have, because I work for the public broadcaster, we are more accountable. So we have to really ask the organization, ask the exact source of information. We probably don't work on source-based news or just kind of a 24/7 news cycle, which probably compromises with the authenticity of the news. So for me, the source is for getting my news for broadcasting is from the official sources. But as a reader, I'm an enthusiast for reading newspapers. I love reading newspapers. I still like that hard copy of the newspaper in my hands, and that probably is that's a different feeling altogether. Though there is hardly some time for me to go through the newspapers, but I also have a lot of news on my phone, especially scrolling through Twitter, because there's a lot of information on Twitter, official information from official handles as well. But still, my favorite thing to do to consume news is reading the hard copy of the newspapers.
Oh, great. Wow. So old-fashioned.
Yes, a little bit.
Yes, but it's good. This is kind of traditional. And maybe the last question, as a professional, and you work with media, and for somebody who just start their first steps, what can you advise?
My first advice would be curious. Because I was very curious when I joined this profession. I had been a public speaker since school. I have never had stage fright. My grandfather was, he's been my inspiration. He has always pushed me to speak out my mind. He has made me the bold person that I am today. So I basically advise whenever there are, young people who come to me, or because in fact I am also not very old in the profession. It's hardly been 7-8 years of my professional journey. But there are people who are beginning, they come up to me, how do we do this? Don't think too much. If you are not able to speak something, write it down and learn. Don't feel shy of what you're doing. Once you're confident in what you're doing, you will not be afraid. That will show on screen. Your confidence will show on screen. So don't be afraid of doing things unusually. If you are not able to learn it, write it down. If you're not able to speak, take 3 takes, 4 takes, 10 takes until unless it comes out right. There's never a problem in learning or repeating it and trying to have it again and again. Also being curious, as I said, because it's very important. I've always had the curiosity, because if you have the curiosity, you will be able to take out something that will be substantial for your editor, for your channel, for your newspaper or anything. So the curiosity, once the curiosity finishes, that means you don't have anything more to drive you in this industry. Curiosity is the key.
And yeah, now last question about the development of BRICS media. What is for you? How do you see it in the future?
Since we are a huge demography, we are a huge population, when we combine the BRICS countries, there is a very possible, or we can say a very constructive future for BRICS TV. Or in a sense, when we talk about media in the BRICS countries. It is essential also because we need some sort of exchange of information. We want to move ahead with not only hardcore news, but also the soft news. Soft news by which I mean culture, tradition, festivals. There is so much diversity in the BRICS countries. For example, Brazil, South Africa, Russia, these countries are so very, China, they are so very rich in their culture, heritage. They have got a history. They've got so many, heritage sites. They have massive, beautiful festivals and culture and whatnot. We can have that kind of exchange as well, because not only hard news matters, but understanding each other's culture is also a part which now mainstream media is not showing much, but it is required to build good relationships and also to inform people about each other's culture. And that's how we, we feel Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, which is a word in Sanskrit, which is India's G20 message also, that the whole world is one family. How do we know it? We know it through cultures, we know it through our heritage, our shared heritage, or maybe our roots where we used to go to different countries for trade and other purposes. So definitely BRICS TV can, in its sense, can definitely exchange hard news, but also can be a major source of bridging the cultural linkages that is relevant for all the countries.
Wonderful. So thank you so much for the
much.
interview.
Thanks to you.